Hello everybody and welcome to TTG's webinar with Tourism Sun Peaks, which is a ski, bike and golf resort in Canada's British Columbia. During this session today, we're going to cover off all the information you need to sell Sun Peaks, including how to get there and what to build into an itinerary. And we're also going to cover what's new as the destination completed an extensive renovation project last year. So I'm really excited to hear about that and all the new stuff you can talk to your clients about. And then towards the end of the webinar, we'll cover off selling tips and marketing advice, as well as any additional agent support that's available to the trade right now. So Colin, coming to you first, probably a very important question for agents to know, where is Sun Peaks exactly? Where is it located?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Maddie. So Sun Peaks, excuse me, is a little hamlet you can see behind me, and it's located right in the heart, right in the middle of British Columbia. So it's about a halfway point between Vancouver, Whistler and the Rocky Mountains.
So Dave, what is the best way to travel there from the UK and Ireland for agents' clients?
Okay, well, we get lots of people coming in the winter time, and they'll generally fly into Vancouver or perhaps into Calgary. From there, they'll fly on to Kamloops, which is a short flight internally, and then they'll have around about a 45-minute transfer from the airport up to the resort. In the summertime, people self-drive in from all directions, whether it's in from the Rockies and Jasper and Banff, or out of Vancouver up into the interior BC to come to us. So you can get around British Columbia and visit us en route.
Fab. And what are the existing activities available at Sun Peaks? I know we've talked about the trails a little bit, but I know there are other options available. I know I enjoyed spectacular afternoon horse riding through the valley. So yeah, can you just talk through what agents can offer to their clients in the way of activities?
Yeah, it's interesting. We're known as a ski destination in the summertime, hiking, biking. We've got an 18-hole golf course as well. You mentioned horseback trail riding, so we've got wagon rides, trail rides. And over the last few years, we've had a lot of other sort of soft adventure activities blossom up. The latest is a very Canadian experience, axe throwing. So I had an opportunity to do it. They just opened up a few weeks ago, and it's carnal. Like, you get up there and you chuck these axes at targets, have a Canadian beer. You've got to wear plaid, but it's just, if you want to get Canadian, the only difference is like they don't serve bacon. But other than that, it's as Canadian as you can get. Outside of that, though, we've got a lake nearby. It's about a 6-kilometer drive. We've got kayak and canoe rentals. New this year is stand-up paddleboard rentals out there. I mentioned the e-bikes, but on the mountain as well, it's not just ride a chairlift, and you can ride a chairlift and take a picture, but we've got unique products like an alpine yoga experience where you ride the chairlift up. You have about a 45-minute hike into a really remote area, and you have a yoga session at the top of the mountain, and it's the most peaceful. It's the perfect Zen place, looking over the vistas and the valleys. At the top of Todd Mountain behind me here, it's the highest peak in the area. So from the top of that mountain, you can actually see about 400 kilometers. You can see the coastal mountains, which is where Whistler lies. Now, Whistler's on the other side, so you can't see Whistler. But for a fly drive going across the province, you can see where you're going to drive the next day. So it's quite unique. And outside of that, I mean, we talked about bike rentals, horseback riding. We've got tons of other activities. We've got a yoga studio now. We've got just being installed as a skate park. So we're talking about like a family-friendly destination. We've got in the Sun Peaks Center Arena, it's a dry arena, NHL size. We've got a basketball court, a skate park will be installed imminently, and free mini golf. We've also got a few different play zones, so some animation within the village itself. So it's a perfect place. Grab a cup of coffee and head over, and we've got the giant chess sets on the ground, ping pong tables, what's called cornhole. I'm not sure if you know what that is. Kind of like a beanbag game.
Oh, yes.
A beanbag into a hole. It's called cornhole.
Okay.
But yeah, lots of different activities like that. Just behind the Nancy Green's Kahilty Hotel and Suites is a small trail in the trees called the Secwepemc Medicine Trail, or Shuswap Medicine Trail, and it's a very short trail. It's an easy 10-minute walk very flat, very accessible, but they've got little signage in each little area within the trail that sort of illustrates how the indigenous peoples from the area use the foliage and the fauna for medicinal purposes, for what they use to prepare meals, etc. And then with that, the culinary experience in Sun Peaks has really blossomed as well. And some of the restaurants are incorporating some of those ingredients and that local flair within their menus as well. So there's a culinary scene. We've got a number of different restaurants and pubs that have multiple taps with local craft beers. So that in itself could be an experience as well.
Great. I remember the poutine was fantastic.
there's
I still
a
dream
restaurant
about that to this day.
Absolutely. There's a restaurant in Sun Peaks. It's called Chez Joe Poutine. And that's all they do. So they do it well.
Great. Okay. So what about accommodation? What types of accommodation do visitors have to choose from when they come to Sun Peaks? Colin, can I come back to you?
Yeah, I can take this one. Sure, certainly. Within the village core, we've got 9 hotels and lodges. So the majority of the property within the village core is sort of a condo style. So you can get standard hotel rooms up to 2 and 3 bedroom condo style, apartment style units. It's been designed that way on purpose, and mentioned in the wintertime, we have a lot of long stays, 7 days, 7 night plus stays. And a lot of those skiers really appreciate kitchenettes or even full kitchens. Some units actually have in-suite laundry, so it's great for long stays, or even a fly drive in the summertime, looking at doing a bit of laundry, and we're sort of that halfway point on an itinerary. But we also have a couple of standard style hotels, which is just the standard hotel room. One, and I shouldn't say standard, one being the Sun Peaks Grand, which is a 4-diamond property. They've got 3 outdoor hot tubs, an outdoor heated pool, and 4 different food and beverage outlets within that hotel itself. It's the signature property within Sun Peaks. And that's in the village core, and you can see that just behind me here. Walking from one end to the other, it's probably about 5 minutes. It's a very easy walk. And that's, again, where all of the restaurants and shops are located, on the ground floor of those properties. But to this side of me is sort of the East Village, what we call, and that's made up of larger units, townhouses, condos, vacation homes as well. And there's hundreds of them available as well. So if you've got a family, or if you want a little bit more space, or say a private hot tub, about 90%, 95% of those units would be equipped with a private hot tub, an outdoor barbecue, and would have outdoor access. So I look at that as a great place. In fact, I'm hosting my own family reunion in 2 weeks up there, and we've got 40 cousins coming from Western Canada, and we rented a couple of those bigger units just so we had that living space and that easy outdoor access. Conversely, in the wintertime, for those longer stays, to have a little bit more space, some of them are 3 or 4 stories high. They've got a games room with pool tables and shuffleboard and that kind of thing. But it's nice for a family to be able to prepare a dinner in the kitchen, have a glass of wine, and have the door to the snow just open, and the kids running in and out, jumping in the hot tub. So it's a great experience, both winter and summer.
Great. Okay, so Colin, I've just got one more question to you before we move over to talking about agent support with Dave. But can you just talk us through the evening entertainment options? I know you mentioned there are loads of bars and restaurants. Are there any specific events or days of the week that you have activities on?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay.
Like I said, so we've got over 20 shops and galleries and such, but the majority of the restaurants and bars, they actually bring in live music. It's a very animated village in that sense, inside. But through the summertime, Tourism Sun Peaks has an event team, as well as Sun Peaks Resort with an event team for the on-mountain product. In fact, we've got the Red Bull Downtime event coming up next weekend as well. We've got the Porsche Club of North America we've got about 50 Porsches coming up. They're going to line the village for show and shines. We'll have some live music in the village. And within that, in the village, we've got a couple of stages, permanent stages built. And Tourism Sun Peaks hosts live music every Friday through June to September. It's called First Fridays. And with that, there'll be a night market, a craft market, artisan market. But through the Friday, Saturday, Sundays, there's generally some kind of entertainment, generally free, outdoors within the village. And of course, then you've got the other live music to complement that within some of the pubs. We've got some signature weekends. We've got the retro concert weekend, which is coming up in a few weeks, which is basically live music for 3 days on a few different stages. And it is retro. It's all tribute bands. So I think we've got Fleetwood Mac, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, I hope, this year. So there's a good lineup of different talent there, and those tribute bands they're just amazing and just a ton of fun. It's one of the more popular weekends. And then towards the end of summer, end of Labor Day, end of August, we've got a signature concert. We're going to roll in a stage right at the base of the slopes. And we're going to have a mountain band called Shred Kelly. I'm not sure what their following is in the UK, but in Canada, in North America, for that matter, they are the quintessential ski band. And it's just good rock and roll, good feeling music. Everyone gets up and dances. And again, that's all complimentary. So there'll be some beer gardens around, different acts throughout the day. We've got the Trial Stars, which is the mountain bikers that sort of do parkour on a mountain bike. So we've got a few of those through the day. So it's really a wide variety. Honestly, I can't even, we don't have time to share it all, but please do check out the website, plunk in the events calendar, and you can pick a range of dates and they'll tell you what's going on through the whole summer. I should mention this as well. Sun Peaks has got an extremely strong art community, a cultural community. And there's an organization called the Art Zone, and they've partnered with a number of businesses in Sun Peaks and actually have featured local artists in a number of the cafes and Tourism Sun Peaks office, in the lobby of the Sun Peaks Grand Hotel, where guests can walk around and do a bit of a walking tour of local artists and that are for sale as well, so they can purchase some original art while they're there. And that rotates each month. So this new exhibition opens every month, and it's available for free, and it's available every day.
Fantastic. That sounds so exciting. Okay, so Dave, we've heard the destination highlights and the essential information, but do you have any selling tips for Sun Peaks that agents can use to bolster their sales? I mean, that might be best times to visit, upgrade opportunities, or any little nuggets of information that you think agents might not be aware of if they haven't sold Sun Peaks before, or even if they have.
Yeah, well, I think just going back to what Colin talked about, the fact that the village is pedestrianised and the centre is somewhere you can walk through with the family, and it's very relaxed. And even the townhomes in the East Village, you can walk to the core of the village in a few minutes, no problem at all. And you can walk to the chairlift, and you can walk to the golf course, and everything's within an easy reach. And similarly, I guess the people coming up in the summertime, you're going to park your car, the back of your hotel, under your hotel, or wherever it might be, and not need to get back in it till you kind of depart the resort. So you've got the possibility of just parking up and relaxing and walking to your restaurant and so on. So on a self-drive trip, it's nice to have a little break from behind the wheel, perhaps. Plus, all the activities, as I've said, are very accessible. They're either right next to the resort, or they can be just 5 or 10 minutes from the resort. So you can come and stay with us, just for a couple of nights and have a really good kind of little bit of soft adventure while you're there. The other point as well is the main chairlift up Tog Mountain is open in the summertime till 7 in the evening in the height of summer. So guests that are only with us for one night can still get up and go and have a look at the view, or do a little hike or something like that. So for breaking that journey again and just getting a bit of kind of fresh air and hopefully the smell of the flowers if you're up there at the right time, that's a really good kind of bonus as a place to come for just one night. And you might just normally just stay in your hotel or go out for dinner or something like that. You can still get out and do something when you're in Sun Peaks. And so that, and also I think it's a great price point, in the summertime. During the summertime, our price point's really good. So if someone's looking to try and adjust the price for a client, we've got things that would appeal, I'm sure. And that family-friendly nature that Colin mentioned as well. For people that are traveling together as a family and want something that's a bit of an opportunity where they can kind of hang out together and do something or try something for the first time together, whether it's paddleboarding or whether it's going mountain biking or whatever it might be. It's a great spot to do that. And the opportunity there is for people to come and try activities, again, usually at a good price point, where they might not have ever tried them before. So you can go and have a very introductory lesson in how to downhill mountain bike in our kind of introductory progression park, and just have a session in there, perhaps have an instructor and learn how to do it properly. And it's a really great way of kind of trying something for new in a very simple and accessible way, really. So yeah, and then in the wintertime, great skiing, as we've said. So we've got plenty of terrain, and also it's doorstep or virtually doorstep to a lot of the properties, so you can ski into some of the hotel back doors, or you can ski out from your hotel down through the village, or you might be able to ski to within a few meters of your back door if you're in a townhome or something like that. It's very accessible for people to get on and off the slopes, and so it's really easy and great relaxing in terms of accessible activities and accessible skiing.
Okay, great. And what about marketing in terms of advice? Do you have any advice for agents that are selling Sun Peaks or looking to sell a destination? That might be new angles agents can tap into, and also do you have an image or video bank that agents can use to share on images and videos, share on their socials or in their email marketing? What's available to them?
Absolutely, yeah. On our website, sunpeaksresort.com, there's a travel trade page which has information on there, including some of our training presentations and the ability to sign up for our Sneak Peeks newsletter. And we can also direct people via that. They can sign through to our media gallery, which will come through to Colin or one of his colleagues, and they will be able to sort of validate people to have access to images that they can then subsequently use. And we've got, we're involved with a number of the tour operators in the UK that sell Canada, and we're very closely associated with them, and often taking part in training sessions with those tour operators, and talking to agents about the resort. But we're very happy to talk to people and help give them some guidance about the resort and the USPs and accessibility, and also where we might fit into an itinerary, whether it's somebody traveling around BC or whether it's somebody traveling from the Rockies to Vancouver, and how we might get involved in being part of that trip for those guests.
Okay, great. And the last thing that I know agents always want to know about is booking incentives, competitions, fam trips, rewards, or any additional training opportunities. Always really keen to hear about those. So Dave, is Sun Peaks offering anything in the way of the things I just mentioned?
Well, we kind of work with our tour operators. Colin and myself are working as the destination itself, rather than specifically being a hotel or being a provider. So we're promoting the resort ourselves, but we work closely with a lot of our tour operators. And I know that a number of those will be organising various trips and various things through the summer to British Columbia, and hopefully there'll be an opportunity for people to perhaps join on to those if they talk to their tour operator partners. But if somebody's coming to our area, please let us know. We're always keen to sort of see what we can do to help people visiting in the region.
Okay, great, thank you. And Colin, just coming back to you for one last question before we finish, is there anything else that agents should know about selling Sun Peaks right now? Anything else that you want to put on the trades radar?
Absolutely. Through COVID and even pre-COVID, everybody's talking the buzzword of meet the locals and authentic experiences. I can attest to this. I've been in Sun Peaks, as mentioned, 14 years. So I got here in 2008, and at the time, there was about 150 people that lived in Sun Peaks year-round. In 2010, we became a municipality. We started a summer concert series, and some of that legacy continues. We're the fastest growing municipality in BC, and as mentioned, we've got 1,600 people living in Sun Peaks year-round. 99% of those are involved in tourism and travel, and every one of them have like-minded sensibilities and values, in that They want to be active outdoors. They look at the mountains and the landscape as their home and their church, and they are heavily involved in ensuring that our guests' experience is outstanding. When we're talking about meeting the locals, all our shops are locally owned and operated. It's quite interesting. I mentioned that, you know, the kids will pop into a coffee shop and get a hot chocolate from the owner's kids, and that's no lie. If it's not the owner of the coffee shop themselves that have built a life in Sun Peaks over the past 10, 15, 20 years, it's their kids behind the counter. So it's quite a unique destination in that sense. And one last thing, David kind of touched on it here, being in the middle of the province, Sun Peaks is a very relaxing destination. It's pedestrian only. And we know within summer, you know, Banff is exciting. It's awe-inspiring, same as Jasper and Whistler, Vancouver. And those are the icons. And we know that's what's driving the majority of the business into Western Canada. But in the middle of an itinerary, when you can spend a couple of nights in Sun Peaks and there's no crowds, and I'm not kidding, there is no crowds, and you have the ability to walk amongst the wildflowers and see wildlife and deer. We don't do wildlife tours, but you'll see wildlife in its natural inhabitants, and let your hair down and take a breath and smell in the wildflower scents. It is something that is very difficult to describe, and literally you have to see it to believe it. So as Dave mentioned, if anyone's listening and is coming in through the area, please reach out and we'll do what we can to help support that trip and come and experience it yourself.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Colin. And thank you very much, Dave. I mean, I know I'm convinced that I need to have a second visit to Sun Peaks now.
Come on over, Maddie.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's tuned in to watch today. I hope that you've learned something new. You can check out our Destination Canada Hub on ttgmedia.com for more educational content about the destination. So thank you again, everybody, and take care.